welcome back to my channel. So today's episode of Legion, we will be discussing the Mourning EP from Black Veil Brides. This EP was released all the way back in 2022, so this was around the time that Black Veil Brides were doing Trinity of Terror. If you had gone on that tour, let me know. I had gone, thankfully, and luckily, I had gone to all 3 legs of that tour. So there's a lot to dive into and discuss. I did do quite a bit of research on this and pulled up some articles and some interviews. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I feel like we don't discuss the Mourning that much. I feel like it was kind of like a flash of time, and it just didn't really get as much attention as I would expect. So yeah, let's get into the Mourning EP. Some new things that have developed in the world of Black Veil Brides. At the time of this episode being released, Black Veil Brides has just started their tour. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go get them. And the song Revenger has been teased, and some of us got a little bit of a early listen to it. I'm going to be listening to it after I'm done recording this. So I'm excited to hear what it's going to be about and how it's going to sound. And then also this past weekend, or I guess at the time of me filming this, the past weekend, WrestleMania 42 WWE, Woe and Pain was released to us. Not the full song, but it was played before Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton had their match. So I will have that little snippet linked in the description below for you to watch if you haven't seen it yet. And then also Black Veil Brides did their Talk Shop Live. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch it because I was at work when they were doing it. Although I was able to catch that little bit of the documentary that Joshua Schultz had done while Black Veil Brides was doing their album recording of Vindicate. So it was very cool to watch and kind of listen to how that process is and kind of the interactions and everything that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to production and the making of an album or a song. So I like watching it. It made me even more excited for this album, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made me a little emotional just hearing the perspectives and also knowing that there's going to be a overture. And then there was a part where they showed woodwinds coming in and recording their part, and I was very excited to see a flautist in there. So I had texted my friend Bellamy, and well, they had texted me too, and I was like, oh my god. So yeah, if you haven't seen that part, check that out. I'll have that also linked. So this EP was released on October 21st of 2022. This was when they were still with Sumerian, and I believe it was Saber 2 was released first. It was released September 6th, so about a month before the EP itself dropped. So if you guys remember the music video for that song, it was filmed in a church. And for a while, I think this was last year, Bellamy and I mostly Bellamy, had gone on a hunt of what church they used for that music video. So it was in LA that they had filmed it, but very, very beautiful church location. And yeah, so the album was produced by Eric Ron and then Andy and Jake as well. So Black Veil Brides had posted on Instagram about the EP. I don't think the post is still up there yet, but I did find a quote from it online when they had released it. So when Black Veil Brides had posted, the caption of the post was, "The Mourning touches on how galvanized Black Veil Brides felt coming out of a very tumultuous few years as a band. It's a representation of Black Veil Brides feeling re-energized as musicians and as friends. From the opening guitar riff of Devil to the driving outro of Better Angels. The Mourning showcases the sound that has galvanized the band, an army of loyalty around the globe. The EP has a very distinguished sound to it. It did feel a little like very safe, but at the time they were with Sumerian, so they didn't have quite as much freedom as they do now, I would say, with Spine Farm. But it is kind of like a stepping stone, I would say, for the era and everything that they've done since that. But there's 4 tracks for this EP. We have Devil, Savior 2, The Revival, and Better Angels. So my personal favorite track off of this EP is The Revival. And it, to me, when I first heard it, it really felt like it was like a Lonnie anthem. So from what I have written down about The Revival, I'm kind of going out of order on these, but The Revival signifies the band embracing their own flaws and darker, complex sides rather than a fake image, as well as resilience and the hypocrisies of others and maybe themselves. So enduring struggles through that resilience, to me, the song reminds me of Lonnie because of that. And the band really started coming into their own when Lonnie joined the band. And for me, at least, it feels like a Lonnie anthem. It's very empowering. I'm gonna backtrack. We're gonna go to Devil. To me, Devil was very much the fuck you song. So I think listening to the song, we kind of understand who or what the song is about. So I don't need to go into too much detail, but I'm going to read something from what Andy said. He said, whether people know who this song is about or not, the chance to be able to make some things you have on your chest is always fun as a writer. Now, I will say that just from a creative process or someone who is creative in their own ways, I will say when you kind of feed off of that emotion and the anger and you put it into something, whether it's a poem, a song, even just writing or journaling, or even an art piece or something, it is very cathartic to kind of put that out there and translate it in a way that people can apply to themselves or their life. So kind of having that shared emotion brings us together, and having that shared experience goes a long way. Savior 2. I will say it was a very emotional song. So when Black Veil Brides dropped this song, this was kind of at a time where, for me personally, I was going through a lot of stuff. I had about the time where one of my grandpas was starting to decline his health. So it was kind of like therapeutic for me. I know a lot of people can attest to this, about this song being kind of like a hug, but Jinx did have a pretty good part into this song, and then he had posted on Instagram about it, so I will read that. So Jinx posted a little bit about this song. I wrote the music in April of 2020 after unexpectedly and tragically losing someone very dear in our family. Grant Dreyer, my mom's lovely husband of just 3 years and a family friend for over 30, was a beautiful soul. He was the love of my mom's life, and not just my stepdad, he was my friend. I can't think of anyone else in the world I had so much in common with our combined interest in classical music and history, and similar tastes in art and culture, and how we both viewed the world around us. His absence has left a huge hole in my heart. Grant gave me his violin, the one he played when he was a kid, to fix up and play before he died. It's the one you see me playing in the video and here on the recording. I'm also playing my mom's acoustic guitar in the video. Grant was a master stained glass artist, and the last piece he was working on before he died was a large window for a church he and my mom went to. When I saw the location for the video, I knew it was perfect. I like to think he's watching it from wherever he is and smiling with that smile we all knew and missed so much. I hope you find this song and video special in your own personal way, as much as it is to me. 2 other things I want to read. One of these is when Andy did an interview with New Noise magazine. I'll have that one linked as well. He says, being a person who is a public figure or has any kind of audience does not immediately make you someone who knows what to do. It doesn't make you somebody who has all the answers. It doesn't make you somebody who's infallible. I feel like it's important to artists to try and express their level of interest in being helpful and inspirational. Also, I think the more responsible thing is to explain whenever possible that you as the artist are not a remarkable gift from the sky. You're just a person like any other person who is given a platform that can be attainable for anyone else. The very nature of believing that you are somehow greater than others, I think, is a problem. For me, the biggest goal is to be able to speak to I'm trying my hardest, and I'd very much like to do the things that would be inspirational to you, and sometimes I don't know what to do. So the song, if you listen to the lyrics, it very much does express that. And I feel like that is kind of relatable in some sense to us. We can apply that to our lives. Like, we try and be something that people want us to be, and you want to make a positive impact, and you're afraid to fail in that sense. But, like, I feel like if you're trying to appease people, you end up losing yourself in that process. So there's kind of that push and pull, double-edged sword to that. And then the next one, this is from Icon versus Icon. Again, this is Andy. He says, we have been doing this for a long time. If you were fortunate enough to have an audience, the great benefit of being an artist is that you were given a certain level of responsibility. Your audience looks to you for inspiration. I wanted to be able to write that song that showed appreciation for that, but also remind our audience and ourselves that we are just guys in a band. We're not infallible. We don't have some sort of magic skills. What we do is not anything that you couldn't do. Therefore, we are trying our hardest to make good on all the stuff you have given us. I hope you can continue to do so. In many ways, it's a love letter to the audience. It's also about working your hardest in life and trying to achieve things that you've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to try to achieve. So again, this also, you can tell in the song, is also one of the messages. I do like that they kind of went that route with the song, and it is kind of a little bit of a nod to Savior, where they were kind of just being like, you can look to us, we can be that strength that you need. Whereas Savior 2 is more so like them thanking the fans for what they have given them and allowed them to do what they do. When it comes to Better Angels, so this song is more so about like battling your inner demons and reclaiming control and finding hope in chaos. And this is also a quote from one of the articles that I had mentioned. Again, this is Andy. As humans, we inherently have that push and pull. As I get older, I strive to be someone who leans more into the better angels of their nature and less into self-serving causes. For me, not letting anything devour me internally and doing things that I believe are better for the people around me. So, again, kind of dealing with, we all deal with things in life, and how we get through them, and how we have that resilience to get through them and use them to our advantage and get through and try and, I guess, become a better person out of it. It goes a long way. And then also with this era, this Mourning EP era, when they were on Trinity of Terror, they also had played at When We Were Young Fest in 2022. That, if you guys recall, that first day they had to cancel it because of the wind and everything, but second day, this was the interview that they had done with Rock Sound. They've done a lot of interviews with Rock Sound, and Rock Sound has been pretty supportive of the band, which is really nice. But one of the things that Andy said during the interview was initially they wanted to do the Phantom Tomorrow Part 2. And I do remember Jake mentioning this as well when on Twitch and stuff at that time. But they felt like the story that they wanted to do had already been told with Phantom Tomorrow. So they turned it into the Mourning EP. Not all the songs that they initially had for Phantom Tomorrow 2 were used, and some of them were saved for later work, which I believe we have seen. Also, with this, they had done a UK tour, and there were 9 stops ending at the Troxy in London. I believe this is where they had done the filming for Lost It All. And I remember watching that video when they had released it, and it was just so beautiful. You could see like the crowd shots and stuff, and how it was filmed was just very, very touching, and I feel like it was a nice nod to that song. And so with the Mourning EP, like I said before, is kind of like a stepping stone into what the band wanted to go towards musically and move forward from. So as Andy said from New Noise magazine, it's pissed off, hopeful, introspective, honest, and above all else, something we are extremely proud to release. And he goes on and says, thematically, this is an interesting series of songs because the tone is very dark, which I will agree. If you really listen to it and you like actually sit down, listen to it, and take it all in, it really is. Then that's not to say that Vindicate isn't dark, but it's got its own place, and the emotions that they're trying to convey with this EP is very different than compared to other songs and albums that they have released. But anyway, lyrically, it's much angrier than our previous material. It comes from a place of being hopeful as a band. We went through a pretty tumultuous series of years, and we came out on the other side. It was an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, we're going to move on from all that, and we're going to say a final goodbye to the previous chapter of our lives. Let's write the epitaph to that era of our lives and start fresh from here. So yeah, I will say they did a very good job of conveying that. I feel like when I listen to this EP, I'm sure if I listen to this EP and then I listen to Vindicate when that releases, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a tie there, some kind of connection, but obviously alone they have their own meanings and at the time what the band was trying to convey and put out musically. So, but you know, with Black Veil Brides, there's always a deeper meaning. There's always things that they are trying to portray with their music, things that they're trying to express, and things that we can relate to, which is why they have the audience that they do. We all can connect to their songs and their music in some way or another. And with that, we connect with each other and grow as a fandom and as people. Before I kind of give you guys my final thoughts, I will say that last time I checked, this was a couple days ago, Sumerian still has one variant left of this EP. So if you didn't get your hands on it, there is one variant left on their website. I suggest you snap it up before it's all gone. I know they did have a pretty limited release, and it wasn't really announced when the vinyl variant of this EP was released. There weren't any CDs, it was just vinyl, and no one really said anything. I found that out on my own, I believe, and yeah, of course, I snapped up my own variant of it. But if you don't have it, go over to Sumerian, snap it up before it's gone. So if you really listen to the lyrics, there is anger behind that, and there is that kind of emotional battle that's going on, and ultimately leading to like the last hurrah of the past in the form of a middle finger. And you kind of walk towards something new light, kind of like a release. And this album or EP, in light of all the negative shit that's going on, and all the anger that is behind it, we can still find the strength within ourselves to get out of it, even though at the time it feels like it's very hard and it's really emotionally draining, but we can get out of that when we experience this in our own lives. And with that, you become a little bit more resilient and a better person, like I said before. So this can serve us in many ways, various points in our lives. And the idea and concept of resilience has been often discussed, especially in my experience from a psychology perspective. I got my degree in psychology, so when we had this discussion in college and stuff, when it came to resilience, it was on a different level. And like to see or to have a band that kind of discusses or touches on that and the concept and emotions that surround the growth and the path of resilience is very interesting to me. So I think that's probably why this EP has stuck around to me for quite some time. And oftentimes if I feel like I'm kind of in a hard spot, I feel like I need to listen to songs off of this EP and really listen to it and kind of just take everything in. But this EP will definitely still be a guilty pleasure of mine. And that's not to say that any of the other EPs aren't, but this EP especially has stuck out for me personally. Right, so that is it for the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Let me know your thoughts about the EP. What are your favorite songs off of the EP? I'm not going to make you rank them because I feel like it would be very hard to do, but let me know what your favorite song off of this EP is and kind of your takeaways with this. Make sure that you are following me on all my social medias, which are linked in the description below. I am taking commissions when it comes to, my usual drawing and art, as well as my custom boots, custom vests, custom jackets. I also started doing custom bustiers, which are still kind of in the beginning stages. But if any of that interests you, make sure you reach out to me. I would love to do a custom piece or some art for you. And then also make sure that you enter the giveaway that I have going on my Instagram. It ends April 30th, so you haven't entered yet. Make sure you do that now. And I will be going to the Madison, Wisconsin show for this upcoming tour. So if you are going to that, hopefully I see you there. If you see me, make sure you say hi. I promise I'm not as mean as I look. I will admit I do have an RBF, but that's not to say that I am one, But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode, and stay rad.